What's going on, guys? It's Masterpiece. You already know what it is, and I'm just back at it again with a little demonstration. Okay, so say we got the system, right? Here, I'm just gonna paint it in white. You won't be able to see anything. So you got white here. Now, when you're dealing with a European dominated land, white government, Indo-European tradition, Christmas everywhere, Wall Street. If you are a minority in that country, your money will be you'll be spread out, right? Because we got different community of black people, right? So we got some blacks here, we got some blacks here, and some blacks here, here. You got blacks spread out, businesses, banks, communities, in a white nation because, well, let's face it, the government in North America is not set up for us. So when you mix it in, it turns, you mix in your wealth and it gets a little bit more black. But of course, it doesn't stay in our community long before we give it back out and turn that money, give it to them again. So we're always being diluted out because, you'll have different cultures coming in that represents different, Chinese, Asian, Lao, whatever. And it just kind of just gets blended in, right? It's the melting pot, right? That's what you guys call it. And then it's not too long before the Jews or whatever corner the market again and rinse it back white. Now, if we were speaking about the continent, in the Congo region, Tanzania, Chad, the Gabon, Namibia, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. You got all these nations, right? Black nations. But what happens now, we got black government, black police, we got black vendors, black children in the schools, black teachers. And if the European money comes in, it's gonna dab the European. These are the missionaries, the Christians, the investors, the tycoons. Well, it's not long, even if you use the white brush, it's not long until it would be overtaken by black. Goes back into the black communities, back to the black farmers, goes back to the black families, black stores, black businesses. And so it's very hard in a black dominated land if we pull together and keep the money in the community and keep it cycling, then the whole continent will be black funded, black organized, black dictated. And what the beauty of the best part about it is that the richest blacks, the richest Africoids are in North America. So if we brought our wealth, the little wealth that we have, the little bit of this and that we have, you know, in New York and Jersey, down in Florida, Cali, if we take the wealth, the little bit that we have, and brought it home, well, we could start bringing our, first of all, our humble nature, but then we could start bringing uh, our luxuries, you know, clean, purified water everywhere, no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, lighting, electricity. So instead of just donating your money here, where it gets cut by some guy, cut by another lady, cut by another lady, cut by another lady, and another guy, instead of putting your funds to the southeast and where it gets cut here, gets cut. Everybody gets their percentages, and at the end of the day, your $100 goes to $2 because that's how it works. So why not just pack up, you know, plan it out, sell off your assets, and bring not your money, but yourself over because there's so much opportunity there. And I know that a lot of people are they're afraid, you know, they're the fear of the unknown. But there's so much potential for growth on the continent. You know, a lot of people say, "Yeah, but Masterpiece, what am I going to do for work?" And and that's a sign that it's an employee mentality. So if you're going to ask somebody who is urging back to Africa, do not ask, "What am I going to do for a job?" Because that that that's not the mindset that we need to go back with. We need industry. We need business, commerce, you know what I mean? We need to be lending money. You know what I mean? We need to be putting the price on the resources, you know? We need to be opening up schools, opening up water treatment plants, recycling plants, and employ our people for a way better wage than they could ever imagine anywhere else. Because the wage is cheaper there, so, you know, you're paying out less, and that that wage increase for them means so much more. You know what I mean? When the money is received by by our family overseas, it really goes a long way, and it's really stretched out, you know, and it's held on to, you know what I mean? I mean, they will hold on to that. Because when you have little, you know what's important. Because when you have little, you're able to see things more clearly, have more focus. There's a big attitude that we have to leave at, you know, in the belly of the beast. And we have to completely drop our baggage. We got to drop our spoiled attitudes, and we got to simplify and humble ourselves down and bring that wealth over where it's going to be recycled and turned and it stays black stays blacker longer. I think it's the only wise decision that we start getting our affairs in order. You know, it's like you're told you got, you know, 2 months to live. Get your affairs in order. Call the ones that you love. Call your loved ones. Get your affairs in order. Make peace. I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to realize that it's like life or death situation. We are on our deathbed. Start making preparations. Start tying up loose ends. Start making calls to loved ones and family. And make peace. Find peace. It's exhausted here. You can't. It's saturated. It's saturated here. It's completely just saturated. The job sectors are closing down, getting taken over by robots. The students graduating are at an all-time high. Jobs are at an all-time low. It's saturated. It's done. This is on the fall. And every Caucasian who is in business and investing knows that Africa is one of the only places left to make an extreme gain on. In terms of the possibilities that are here, the real estate that's here, the resources, the animals, the creativity, your people, because of this spot in particular, is how the rest of the world is fueled. And we're not really making anything off of this at all. In fact, we're being killed for it. So it's not saturated, it's very underdeveloped. And there's so many places to go. The Namibian desert's just so beautiful. Zimbabwe's mountain peaks are just so amazing. It's so serene. It's cool and it's damp and misty. You're in the clouds. I stayed in the Vumba Mountains. It was breathtaking. You know, BVUMBA or VUMBA, Vumba Mountains. I don't know how you would spell it in the native vernacular, but if you were to use English characters, Latin characters, it would be BVUMBA. You gotta go there. You gotta check it out. It's breathtaking. It really is. Hearing the monkeys in the trees from afar. They sound like they're like baboons or something. Crazy. Beautiful. Anyways, I'm this is it's just the most beautiful place on the world. It's just got the most nice people, you know, and we can no longer speak about how great it was. We can no longer be like, you know, Black Power and not even have an intention on visiting. You know, there's so many things in life to save up for, but making the trip back home, I think, is important number one right now if you're black, especially if you're in North America, where your money's being diluted, it's being washed in and overran, and just it comes out white again. So we need to bring our businesses back to the continent where the communities are potent. You know what I mean? Where we got a lot of kids to feed, and we keep that money in, and we're not giving it out unless it's for a good cause. It's gonna get our village popping, you know, and get some roads running through the village. You know, hold on to that money until we can afford some street lights in the town so that people can safely roam around at night. You know what I mean? No more curfews, like no more unofficial curfews. You know, that black on black shadiness. It's because we've been ignoring the plight for so long. I mean, we've been able to travel back now for years and years, decades. You know what I mean? And we still have master teachers who we look up to in America, and they want to die in America. And I think that's a shame because, I mean, I don't know, the whole career basically was built up on speaking against this beast and how brutal it is here and how amazing Africa was or is or was and but never have an intention on going home. That's why I'm always tuning into Sarah Suit and Seti, man, because from the jump from his younger videos, he said the words that he said the words I knew he was about it. He said, we must return home. And he was mad young, and he was saying, we must return home. And he was teaching a bunch of kids. And, and I said, yeah, finally, you know what I mean? Like, somebody speaking up for the continent in terms of that is our new destination. Not, oh, well, Africa was great, and we had, Shanghai and Janae and Timbuktu, and cool. But we can only Africans can get it back to that point again. Only Africans can make it great again. Or any other excuse to come in here is just conquest, right? It's just conquest. So I can't stress enough how fast it would grow if we started migrating in masses to the continent, and then that money that we get, we keep it black. We keep it because it's so potent. It just eats up all the other colors. You're from Korea, you're trying to get in here. Well, you're trying to mix in with the community and start something. Too bad. We're buying up those dollars, and we're keeping them in our communities. We're taking it from you, and we're putting it in the communities. I got a GoFundMe page. I'm trying to start up a black-owned, pro-African, pan-African convenience store in Toronto, so that, and now I'm talking about moving my money over here, and I already have plans, everything set up. I'm going home. But what I would like to do is, for those that aren't ready yet, for those that want to stay here, whatever, I want to be able to have this convenience store up and running, so that the kids can utilize the basement and go learn, go read, study programs. Come here, chill after school here. I'll help you with your homework. No big deal. Have pictures of paradise, and then they'll be like, where is that? It's Africa. So so they'll want to go. They'll aspire. Like, I didn't know. All they show us is desert. I didn't know it was a paradise. Well, yeah, it's a paradise. So GoFundMe. It's the GoFundMe page. It's in the link below. Click on that. Donate. Give your love, financially, because we need a spot to kick it. We need a spot where the kids can feel safe, and we need a spot that it's we can just come to. Like just a convenience store that just, it has our vibe on it. I think that's very important, especially in such a multicultural city like Toronto. We need our own vibe. The black streets like Eglinton and Weston, they're getting taken over. The Jews, they own it. They own the buildings, and the blacks are being pushed out. Gentrification, and we're mad at that. It's the MPs, the parliaments, they're not listening. They don't hear the plight. They will never hear our plight in a white supremacist country. We must move back. It's masterpiece. Eat to live.